What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus More Phenomenal, your weekly stop for your Power Rangers Super Sentai Kamen Rider news and reviews right here on our YouTube page. It is I, your more phenomenal host, as always, Adam Perez, certainly coming through as we are, in fact, live on our YouTube page along with Facebook as well, ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't in tuned to us there as well. So thank you very much. It is Saturday. Sorry about the late start. I know we usually start around 12 o'clock, but to say that the start of my Saturday has been hectic is definitely, to say the least. So sorry about that, guys, but we are in fact here, and it's not just me today. Today, I also have, at least for one of our segments, Mr. Stuart Branscombe. What's going on, Stuart?
Hey, not much. I'm surprisingly awake despite it being a Saturday morning for me in California. So I'm excited to talk Power Rangers again.
Yeah, man, it's certainly good to have you here. I definitely know you joined us for a couple of episodes earlier in this season, and I know you did have one of your requests was to certainly try and join us for at least our last two episodes. So thank you very much for certainly having us, man. And for those of you who don't recognize Stuart's handsome face, he is in fact the gentleman that does our reviews for Kamen Rider Saber here on our YouTube page. So definitely look out for that. And Stuart, I think you have two episodes of Kamen Rider Saber this week that you're tackling, right?
That is true. That is correct. So basically my last episode I wasn't able to do last week because there was just so much on my plate this week. It was just like overwhelming. But my plan is to do kind of like a double feature for this week's Kamen Rider review. So I'm going to be doing like reviewing episodes. I believe it was 11 and 12 like together.
Okay, awesome. So guys, certainly go ahead and look out for that. And also want to go ahead and bring to your guys' attention that we actually have started a Patreon account. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're certainly looking for your support. If you love this channel, if you want to continue to certainly see it grow, definitely go ahead and become a patron. I want to say the $1 tier, I believe, is you get like a shout out for becoming a Patreon. You also get access to our Discord community because we are in the process of trying to grow our A+ More Phenomenal and A+ Opinions community in general. If you want a spot where we can all just kind of meet up and discuss things or whatever the case may be, we got $5 tiers, $10 tiers that all offer exclusives and early access. Whether you're a fan of A+ More Phenomenal or A+ Hero Report, we certainly are there. So if you want to see us to continue to grow, whether that be production wise, bringing in more people to certainly go ahead and up our game here, definitely go ahead and show your support, guys. Feel free to certainly join us there if you certainly would like to. So yeah, definitely go ahead and show your support there. Because Stuart, I believe you've got like an additional Kamen Rider review that you're going to be doing also for the exclusive side of our Patreon, correct?
Yes, my plan is to be reviewing starting in January. I'm going to be reviewing Ryuki and Dragon Knight kind of side by side. So it'll be one episode of Ryuki, then the next week it'll be an episode of Dragon Knight.
Very nice, very nice. And I believe the Super Sentai reaction videos that we do are going to be exclusive, or at least early access to Patreons also, probably like a month ahead, to be perfectly honest with you. So you definitely get a nice little jump start on our Gokaiger reactions. And I believe our Power Rangers watch-alongs will be part of our Patreon as well. So certainly go ahead and check out our Patreon page along with our tiers and see how you certainly would like to go ahead and support our channel. So other than that, guys, let's go ahead and get some shout outs in here because I know we got a ton of people that like to join us live. So first off, Jordan Nichols, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming through. Who else? We've got Blossom certainly up in here as well. Thank you for letting your presence be known. We got Matthew in the house as well. Johnny Marrero certainly coming through. Johnny, get him a body bag. Yeah. He's in the house. Kwaku is certainly here also today. Fire Drake coming through once again. What's up? Good looking. I don't know who that is. I feel like they're either talking to me or maybe that's AJ. I feel like that might be Bacon and Sushi with a new name today. Who knows? Power Rangers in your area is certainly here. Who else we got? Shadow Nova Production certainly coming through. Doomsday certainly here as well. Alexis, what's up, Alexis? Thank you very much for making your presence felt. Also, who else is? JB says what is in the house? We got Edward Sanchez Productions also in here. And yeah, Isaiah. Thank you very much, Isaiah, for certainly coming through through, guys. Listen, if you love our content, especially if you're in the live chat, I'm expecting everybody to hit that thumbs up, buddy. Hit that thumbs up if you certainly like our content here. Clearly, the more that you like our videos and share them, clearly that's how we go ahead and continue to grow our community. So, and of course, Jared Hodges, what's up? Good to see you in here also, man. So Stuart, we got a stacked episode today. I do have a meeting at like 2:30. So I try not to rush us through this. We got a good 2 hours to certainly get through. And of course, we definitely will be getting to your guys' live viewer questions towards the end of this episode as well. So if you do have a live viewer question, feel free to start submitting them over right now, aplusmorephenomenal@gmail.com, just to make sure that we actually get to your comment or question and don't happen to accidentally skip over it in the comment section. So if you definitely wanted to have answered live on air, aplusmorephenomenal@gmail.com, feel free to go ahead and submit them over.
Really quick, I do gotta. Not this one. Sorry. I have to bring up this question real quick about Q Ranger, only because I do plan on making a video where I talk about how I would adapt it essentially for the channel. I was going to do this a while ago, but like I mentioned earlier, I've kind of been really busy with school. But I do plan on eventually making this a video of my personal way of how I would adapt it.
Oh, I like it, man. I like it. I want to say somebody. As a Jason Bishop or something like that, didn't he?
That's what inspired me to finally kind of go, you know what, I'm just gonna make a video about how I would do it as well.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Everybody loves hearing other people's theories and fan suggestions. So yeah, man, I definitely would be down to having that on the channel. What was I gonna say before we go? You know what? Let's just get into the news and the reviews, man. Let's just go ahead and dive into it. We're like 6 minutes into this episode, and I'm sure people are like, Adam, can you just talk about Beast Morphers this week? Because that's really what everybody is here to talk about, isn't it? So let's go ahead and dive into this week's episode of Beast Morphers Season 2, Episode 19, the penultimate episode before the season finale. I love that word, so I try and use it anytime it's in my vicinity. So the penultimate episode of Beast Morphers is here, titled Source Code, where we get ourselves some pretty gnarly revelations, man. And you know what, Stuart? Can I be honest with you for a second?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a couple months back, before I even posted this, no spoilers, please, I was spoiled on several different things in this season. I believe in total there were maybe 3 things: the Power Ranger Vault, the Dr. K, and sad to say, Benjix.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody really ruined that for me, unfortunately. Like, I guess it was out of context, but based off of everything that I had already seen in Beast Morphers, I was like, oh, really? That's the end result. But I still love this episode in regards to just all the revelations that we honestly did get. To whoever did spoil me, screw you. I don't remember who it was, but a big F you. I think that's one of the reasons why I decided to go ahead and put up the Beast Morphers no spoilers, please. Specifically up until at least this moment. I don't know what next week's episode certainly is going to hold for me, but this was the revelation that I was spoiled on. But I got to say, it was still a fantastic freaking revelation in here. What did you think about it, Stuart?
Yes. So watching it back when it originally aired in Europe, essentially, because I was not going to deal with any spoilers. I'm like, no, I gotta watch this all now. I had known about the Venjix theory for the longest time. In fact, I myself was saying, yeah, that would be really cool. But I think it was kind of I put it in the back of my mind just because I feel like ever since Dino Charge, every season really wanted to be very standalone. Right, very rarely kind of harkens back to, previous seasons. And when they do, it's usually either like a what's the term? Like an improv line from one of the actors. Like I know that there were a few improv lines from Peter Sadarcio that were Easter eggs for previous Power Ranger seasons, but that's about it. So the idea of taking a villain from a season that I don't think any kids have even watched, any kids that are watching Beast Morphers have even really seen, and then using that as the twist for a current season really shocked me. And the biggest evidence people were trying to use of how, they were trying to say say that this was definitely going to be how it was going to end. And I thought you're giving Power Rangers a little bit too much credit. A lot of people pointed out the voice actor, the name for the voice actor was Randall Ewing, I think, how that's pronounced. And everyone was saying that's an anagram for the voice actor for Venjix. Let me see if I can find his name. Andrew Lang. Yeah, everyone was saying that was an anagram for Andrew Lang. And I'm like, oh, that's dumb. Like that there's no way Power Rangers would go through that much effort of faking a voice actor's name. And I was wrong. And yeah, the twist came, and then they during the credits, they even put, his actual name as Evox or Venjix. So I was like, holy crap, they went through the effort of making a fake IMDb page in order to have a fake voice actor for Venjix. And that's kind of what blew my mind about the twist in the end. It's just how much effort the writers and just the team put into hiding this twist, to making us think it was not going to happen, because I feel like they knew that this was something that fans wanted to see. And so they really wanted to wait till the very end to reveal, yep, it's exactly what you guys wanted.
An anagram. Yeah, that's crazy that they went.
Is that the right term for when?
Yeah, no, okay. I believe. Yeah, like when you have like a word, like all the letters are jumbled around to spell something different, and then you can just use those same letters to spell something else out. Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what I believe. I'm pretty sure that sounds familiar to me at least. But yeah, for them to go to those lengths, definitely is unbelievable, because I really don't feel like Power Rangers has put that much effort into a lot of its stuff over the past several years. So for them to go out that far, I thought is pretty incredible. I love the connection to RPM. Honestly, I don't know how many people did watch RPM, years ago, but I know how big and popular of a season that it certainly is for many. So I love the immediate connection here to like the last great thing that was Power Rangers for quite some time. The Dr. K return I thought was fantastic. I honestly thought the Dr. K return was going to be the was it the Evox snare episode? I believe episode 9, when Devin tried to reach out to her. I don't know why she just didn't pop up in here in that episode like she did here to certainly help Abraham out. But I guess things were probably maybe a little bit more serious than what they thought it was originally, right? Like I think if they had made the connection that Venjix was Evox back in episode 9, maybe it would have been a little bit different for Dr. K to actually show up at that time. But the fact that we got Dr. K in 2 episodes this season and hid it from me, like I had no idea this was even coming. So the fact that they were able to get her in here, absolutely great. And I love seeing just her chemistry with Abraham, getting to see those two, her and Nate, working in the lab together, picking each other's brains, her giving Abraham some advice on how to handle this situation, because Nate was certainly struggling to realize that he's the cause of all the problems that they certainly have been facing here. What did you think in overall in regards to how Nate handled the situation?
He handled it poorly when he found out, but at the same time, you can't blame him for handling that way, especially because like the biggest thing that he said that, really kind of stuck to me, because I've totally been in I think everyone has though, situations like this where, you're trying to comfort someone who's definitely going through something really, really crappy that you yourself have never actually been through and nothing about. And so you want to try to comfort them the way you can, but you also can't say, I know how you feel, because you don't know how they feel. And that's how like all the Rangers kind of felt like trying to cheer Nate up. And especially I loved, the way Zoe was trying so hard to like cheer him up, but she was also trying not to push him, because, if she did that only made things so much worse. And, so that kind of stressfulness that she had was like, I've been there so many times. So the idea of bringing Dr. K in as his wake up call was absolutely brilliant. Being like, yeah, you're mad that you re-released Venjix onto your world. Yeah, I invented him, and he nearly destroyed my world.
Outside of our partners and our girlfriends, Zoe's got to win award for best girlfriend of the year. Just hands down for being able to pull that off. Honestly, I continue to love just those two together. It continues to show why they certainly deserve to be together, or why they deserve each other for sure. I love how Zoe is always there for Nate in regards to kind of lifting him up, especially in his down times like this. I feel like if anything, Zoe has come through for Nate on several occasions in this season and stepping up for him. So she certainly does so once again. So yeah, Girlfriend of the Year award definitely goes out to Jacqueline Sislowski as Zoe here. I love the flashback of the revelation for Nate and Evox. The idea of Evox saying, you know, I was there that day, you know, all those years ago when you were just a little kid working out in the lab and stuff. See, this is why you don't leave kids unsupervised in laboratories by themselves. Like, I don't care how much of a genius you are. The fact that we have Nate messing around with some of the morphers and some of the weapons from past Power Ranger seasons. We see him mixing snake DNA along with Morph X DNA with the morpher from RPM, not realizing that some of Venjix's DNA, or I should say source code or virus or whatever case may be, is still within it. So he not only mixes that, but he also mixes the Morph X and the snake, and just winds up creating a massive mistake here. But I
wonder.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I wonder if the metaphor was there on purpose. Like, so you know how like with snakes, the younger they are, the poisonous snakes specifically, like king cobras and rattlesnakes, the younger they are, the more dangerous they are because the harder it is for them to control their venom. You could say the same thing about geniuses. The younger they are, the less they really think about they think about the big picture, but they don't think about anything in between. You know.
I can see that. Yeah. That might be a really great counterpart. You might great counterpoint. You might be right in regards to that.
And I think it being snake DNA, that's what made me wonder if like that metaphor was there on purpose.
Maybe. You never know, man. You never know. I mean, if they went so far to do an anagram, who knows, bro? Like, who knows? But I love the fact that it does. I believe who wound up saying it in here. I think it was not Ultra. He says he loves how it winds up put an end. Or at least given a proper conclusion to RPM, if you will, also. And I love I just love the connection, man. Despite the fact that they are in completely separate dimensions, the fact that they were able to somehow connect those two storylines together, I almost feel like if I want to suggest to people now, hey, go check out Power Rangers Beast Morphers, a part of me also wants to reference, you might want to also check out Power Rangers RPM first beforehand. So, I mean, listen, I feel like that's an even great way to bring more attention to your franchise. You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to find out more about this past villain, feel free to go ahead and check out this other series. I mean, outside of Sledge and maybe I'm trying to think outside of Sledge, who has popped up in different seasons, outside of like team up episodes, have we ever had that before where like a main villain comes back in another form for another season?
Not. I'm trying to remember. Like, as far as I can remember,
I'm thinking like Astronema, but she came back as like a hero.
Only for team ups is what I meant. Yeah, Rita Repulsa is like the only thing I can think of, and Astronema. Yeah, like you said, because both of them do come back for not team up episodes. In Astronema's case, she becomes a ranger. In Rita's case, she becomes like the witch in what's it called in Mystic Force. But yeah, like other than that, like I can't think of that specifically unless it's a team up, like you mentioned.
Yeah, so I mean, kudos to the writers, man. For again, this it's so funny because we crap on a lot of these writers, man, for what they've done in the past. But when you get into something like Beast Morphers, now, while I mean, clearly there are some episodes maybe in the first half of this season that maybe a lot of people weren't that impressed with. But I gotta say, like, I feel like the handcuffs have just been released. I feel like Saban would not have let these people be as creative as they certainly wanted to. And I think Hasbro was just saying, hey, man, whatever creative ideas you have, do it. And I feel like they're pulling out all the stops. You know what I mean? I mean, let me see if I can pull this up real quick and see exactly who.
And a part of it too might be because of Hasbro taking over. There might have been kind of the worry amongst the writers of changes to how the whole thing is going. So it might have been like just that whole thing of, look, we can do our job. Just pretend we never did Ninja Steel. That was just a fluke. I mean, look at the Sentai. How can we make that into a good show? We can do good writing. We promise. You're muted. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, sorry. I went to go reach for something and it disconnected my thing. So storyline wise, it says teleplay by Chip Lynn, but the story by Alwyn Dell and Becca Barnes. So yeah, it looks like all three of them certainly worked on this project. And then I think we had Simon Bennett, who was in fact the director, coming through once again with a great episode. I really love just his the tone and the way that he's able to really highlight some of our characters' strengths. Like Abraham, for me, just blew me away once again, continuing to show why, if you ask me, he's the MVP of this season, hands down. I usually would like to try and give that to the Red Ranger and Devin, but I honestly think that there's two other characters that have had more significance in this season than Devin himself, and that's definitely Nate along with Ravi. So but I love the focus on Abraham in here, and to be able to see him overcome his mistake and realize that, like, listen, sometimes situations are bigger than your own personal feelings, right? Like as bummed out, and probably you don't want to even walk into a lab ever again because of the huge mistake that you made, that there are people counting on you to put an end to this, right? So you got to put your own feelings aside for a minute and really focus and try and figure out a solution here. So the performance by Abraham, the Dr. K and Nate stuff, I thought was brilliant. The great Venjix storyline, connecting that with a great flashback with a young Nate. I just thought the writers really handled every aspect of this episode and have really done a great job with the overall story arc, I feel like, for the 2 seasons of Beast Morphers. I've been really impressed so far, man.
Definitely same here.
Unbelievable. What's up, good looking, says the writers need to get rid of the comedy duo now. I don't know why they let Coda be the only comedic character but not Beast Morphers. I didn't mind Ben and Betty here this week. I thought they were utilized pretty well. The idea that their confrontation with Evox was like this, so I didn't have to worry about them doing some bumbling idiot type of thing. I mean, they was just immediately thrown to the side. But I did love the making Dr. K a tea thing. I thought that was pretty good, seeing Ben, like, how hard we worked for this lady, and then getting the compliments, like, all right, that's okay. Yeah, as long as we're allowed in your lab, that works. But yeah, I was impressed.
That was great. And I think it kind of came to Dr. K, because they do hint that her and Ziggy definitely had a relationship. And I think it works too, because the actors in real life I think they're still married. I could be wrong though. But yeah, it's like one of those things where Ziggy was definitely the comedic relief in Power Rangers RPM. So I feel like her, being with him for so long definitely gave her an idea of like how to deal with kind of the comedic relief, essentially, in a way, and how to make them feel useful when all they're doing is getting in the way, have them, not only be out of the way, but also have them feel useful while doing it. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was pretty brilliant. Very smart on her part, for sure. Like, just whatever you got to do, just not in the lab, please. Just go on, give them a mission. I absolutely love it. I thought it was brilliant that she did that. And what's up, good looking, said they divorced. Ziggy and her. Okay. I guess, I don't know. I'm taking his word for it, but I'll have to definitely go ahead and look into it. And unfortunately for this episode, guys, the end of Blaze. Blaze doesn't make it to the end. You know who does make it at least to the final episode? Scrozzle. Scrozzle, who I thought was probably not going to make it out of season 1, to be honest with you, has managed to somehow make it to the very end of this season. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it out of the season. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow survives out of all this, but we'll see what happens. But I honestly thought the action was pretty good. A nice mixture of Super Sentai footage along with some original footage in here. Nothing over the top that really blew me away, but I thought the action was handled pretty well to go ahead and say farewell to Blaze using the arrow, if I'm not mistaken, also that they were planning on using on Evox at some particular point in time. But yeah, Roxy's gone. And now Blaze. I would ask you, can we expect to see any of them back next week? But I don't want any spoilers, Stuart, so I won't.
I won't spoil anything. But I'll say this: one thing I would like to do, I would like them to do, and the reason why I want Scrozzle to survive is because it would be kind of cool for Dino Fury to have him as their team up villain, essentially. Because that's one thing that I thought was so cool about Saban and Disney era. It's just like there would always be some kind of connective tissue with the villains that would still be alive, and that would always play out in the team up episode. And I'd like to see that kind of come back.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Give me Scrozzle and maybe a connection with Crayon from Ryusoulger for Dino Fury, whoever that's gonna be. But yeah, we just to also clarify the Dr. K stuff. Yeah, they are not married anymore. It says Power Rangers Union area, and apparently she wind up marrying somebody else and having a kid. So yeah, Dr. K certainly has moved on from Ziggy. But other than that, Stuart, listen, is there anything else in this episode that jumped out at you, man, that you wanted to focus on?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I gotta get my notes. Okay. The one thing I do have to give a little nitpick about the episode itself, and that was I was not really a big fan of Venjix's voice in this. Like the voice actor, but the sound mixing was off compared to how it was in RPM. In RPM, it was menacing. It was a lot deeper. So it was actually like a terrifying sounding voice. But here it was like, I think the echo wasn't enough. And then also it was just a little too high pitched. So with the mixture of that, it just didn't work anywhere near as good. And plus, I think on top of that, it just didn't work as well with Venjix's look. I just think not Venjix's. Sorry, I meant to say with the Evox Snake look, the Venjix voice just didn't sound as cool coming from that. Whereas before, when he had either just the computer look to him, or his final form when he was had the weird beard, robotic beard. I thought like that voice made a lot more sense coming from that kind of a design. So I hate being nitpicky, but yeah, I was not a fan of the sound editing in terms of his voice. And then the other thing, it has nothing to do with the episode, but it was just kind of a rant I wanted to go on, is what was with both the official Power Ranger Twitter page and Nickelodeon's official Twitter page spoiling the big reveal yesterday.
I had people trying to send me stuff, and I'm like, bro, I haven't watched anything. Like somebody asked me hey, send me a huge paragraph asking me, hey, what did you think about what they released? And then went on to this huge thing. And I'm like, hey, I have not watched anything. And yet somehow me saying I have not watched anything has spurred somebody to actually send me the clip. So I was like, no, I don't know. The point is I don't want to see it. There's a reason why I haven't watched it, because I saw the clip up there. But before I watched the clip, whoever had posted something on Twitter was like, man, talk about spoilerish or something like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to watch it. I'm not even going to watch it. All I saw was Nate with his gun and Evox catching something, and I was like, oh, I'm done. So I clicked off. So I just did not watch it. But I don't know I get the idea of you wanting to hype people up to watch the episode, especially leading into it, but don't spoil it for yourself. Did Nickelodeon post that?
Nickelodeon and Power Rangers. And on top of that, do you watch Mojo at all?
I mean, every once in a while if it pops up on my feed or something.
They had a top 10 list of top 10 biggest Power Ranger twists. And normally when they do that kind of thing, they always just give a summary of what the list is going to be. And then they say spoiler warning. But in their summary, before they got to the spoiler warning, they happened to use that clip of Venjix of Evox saying, I was Venjix. And they use that before the spoiler warning.
God, I'm just who is the head of these social media teams? If they sent that to me, it was like, hey, we want to promote Power Rangers with this clip. I'm like, do you sure you want to use this clip? This clip? If anything, maybe even bring back if you're gonna do that, maybe bring back Dr. K, maybe a Dr. K and Nate clip somehow without giving out too much information.
Dr. K and Ben and Betty.
Yeah, right. Something like that, right? I don't know. It was just really weird that they went ahead and did that. Like Nickelodeon, I would be able to understand because I feel like Nickelodeon doesn't care anyway about Power Rangers. But the actual Power Ranger official Twitter, and maybe even Instagram, if they did post that stuff up there, yeah, at least it does have me scratching my head. Like whoever is the marketing person over there, you gotta do a better job of keeping spoilers out. Like there's a better way to market an episode and get people hyped instead of revealing the biggest thing out of that episode. I mean, granted, you reveal it, people probably are going to want to come and watch and see how it's all connected, but I just feel like that's just a money shot you just don't give away for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
have people come and watch to find that stuff out. And going back to your comment about the voice, I honestly would have just preferred them to either keep the Evox voice or do a combination of the two, right? Voice edit, like sound edit them, mix them together so he sounds a little bit different, but he kind of sounds like Evox and Venjix at the same time, because it almost sounded like his voice turned into Steel trying to be angry. Like it just felt weird. I was like, not that he was like super comedic and over the top, but it just lacked that sense of terror, or anything like that when he did reveal himself to be Venjix. So I don't know. But I agree with you. I was not the fan of the voiceover work for Venjix at all.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Good to know I wasn't the only one.
Nah, you definitely weren't the only one, because I remember watching it and I'm like, oh, this sounds terrible. Like he doesn't sound threatening like at all. I'm like, Bob, is that you under that mask? Like take that helmet off. Like who's under there? So we'll see what happens. But man, I got to tell you, the great plot twist. Mm-hmm. Great character stuff in regards to Nate. Love the Dr. K return. Zoe, Zoe, easily girlfriend of the year. But yeah, big props to everybody that worked on this episode for doing an absolutely stellar job, man. If this is if this is just a hint of what we're gonna get when it comes to Dino Fury going forward, sign me up, man. Sign me up. But ladies and gentlemen,
talk about cold for Venjix though, being like, "Hey Blaze, I need you to get this very important thing to me." He leaves and he's like, "Oh yeah, I already got that. Scrozzle, here, you install it."
Yeah, you do this, Scrozzle. Yeah, talk about if anything, like, and it definitely felt like he was just trying to get rid of Blaze. It was like, I lost Roxy. Here, you do this for me, but you know what? As a backup plan, because I don't believe in you, I'm gonna give this to Scrozzle. Sad way for Blaze to go out. Like I honestly would have loved to have seen Blaze and Roxy go out in a blaze of glory, no pun intended. But when you kind of make that mishap of now changing them from avatars to just regular Robo, Blaze, and Roxy, you really eliminate just all sense of people caring about them. And it seems as though the writers didn't care enough about them either to give them farewell departures, if you will. So we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Episode 20, the finale, next week. Stuart, you're joining me for that one also?
Definitely.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We'll definitely see you then. Let's go ahead real quick. I won't keep you too long here. I just want to run through some of these comments in regards to the episode as well.
Yeah.
If you see anything in particular that you want to talk about, feel free to go ahead and pull it up here. Johnny Marrero, Venjix is back and powerful than ever. Yeah, man. He we'll see what he winds up doing. I love the final shot. All the Morph X towers sort of beaming into the one at Grid Battle Force. I thought that was a great looking shot.
Agreed. Was that shot taken from Go Busters?
I don't believe so. I don't recall. I mean, maybe the shot of the multiple towers, but clearly not the one coming back to Grid Battle Force. But I feel like that might have been.
Okay.
And which was weird also, I feel like this episode even had like some Super Sentai footage from like earlier episodes in Go Busters, like their first encounter with Evox, or I should say Messiah, in like their mid-season finale. I kind of felt like they maybe utilized some of the footage from that too. Fire Drake feels as though Evox should have been the descendant of Venjix instead of Venjix himself. What do you think about that? I
mean, I kind of already see him as like more of a descendant of of Venjix, because I feel like kind of the mix of MorphX and Snake DNA did kind of change his overall like wiring, and that's why he was a lot different in Beast Morpher. So I don't know. To me, I never saw him directly as Venjix, but definitely like, yeah, like he said, kind of a descendant anyways.
Let's see here. Not Ultra has a couple comments. He says, big episode. Evox is Venjix, and honestly, they handled it pretty well. I definitely agree with you there. He says, I have to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed all of Dr. K's cameos, and I like how she was relating to Nate with the situation they both had in common. It definitely reminded me of Tommy from Dino Thunder. Yeah, you make a good point, man. He also says, and Ben and Betty had a comedy bit this week that actually worked. It was really going to be worried that they were going to ruin a nice moment between Nate and Dr. K. I agree. That's why I didn't have a problem with them at all in this episode. I thought they handled them well. And like you said, Stuart, Dr. K came up with a brilliant plan, right? Like, I feel like she's used to dealing with annoying ass people back from RPM days. So the idea of trying to get people get out of my business, man. Just go make me some tea, make you feel important. I thought she did a brilliant job in there.
Yeah. All I know is that if I ever like own a business, I want her as a manager, because she knows how to like, she definitely knows how to get people to do what needs to be done.
I definitely agree with you there, man. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah. And then just overall, like one thing I almost forgot to bring up with her performance as Dr. K is I loved how it didn't feel like it was just kind of phoned in. It felt like she was actually there to give a really good performance. Like it felt like the same Dr. K from RPM, just grown up, more matured and all that kind of stuff, finally getting over the fact that she almost ended the world, finally forgiving herself essentially.
Yeah, I definitely super relatable moments between Dr. K and Nate, which is, I think, a brilliant idea to even bring her in the first place. So I'm glad that we got to see her again and utilize so incredibly well. Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Stuart. He says, Not Ultra also says, there are still questions that bother me, like how and why did all the Ranger tech just go to Grid Battle Force? There was a passing line of Dr. K saying Venjix must have somehow escaped, but how can Venjix escape out of the RPM dimension when in a morpher? It's never really bothered me, the idea of, how or why Grid Battle Force wind up getting all the Ranger tech. Like some things, I guess, in Power Rangers, I don't necessarily need to be explained. Like the idea that Grid Battle Force is just aware of different dimensions, having the ability to open up portals and things like that, wouldn't be surprised me if in their time they've done some time traveling or jumping in and out and introducing themselves and whatnot, right? Like I feel like maybe Grid Battle Force is just, I don't want to say a hub, but maybe it's maybe in the rest of the world of Power Ranger lore, maybe all these other dimensions are fully aware of Grid Battle Force, and at some particular point in time after their battles have concluded, maybe they've met up with Grid Battle Force. Like I just feel like there's a ton of theories you can throw out there. Like I, for myself, I don't necessarily need a reason to find out how they did it. I just assume that if you can open up a dimension and you know how to jump through and communicate with other people, that you've all talked and have come to this decision that this is probably the safest place for a lot of this stuff. But what about you, Stuart? I mean, does that bother you when they don't explain how it got there, or like what's your explanation? Do you have a theory?
I mean, I personally just like it better if they can't come up with a good explanation, don't explain it, just let the fans put it together in their heads, because I feel like there's a million different headcanons that you can come up with of why it makes sense. My theory with Beast Morphers, and I'm sure like next year it'll be either confirmed or denied when they inevitably team up with Dino Fury, is that Beast Morphers takes place, maybe a few years after SPD. Like, I always assume 2030 seems like a nice number for Beast Morphers. But yeah, I always just kind of assumed it's in the future anyways. And so just talking to people from other dimensions and other timelines is just like, it's so convenient that they literally do it on a Skype call like a few episodes prior. So the idea of like borrowing Ranger tech from other dimensions isn't that far-fetched when you can literally Skype with them another dimension. So yeah.
Yeah, and the idea of like when people try and figure out the time periods when these events take place, like for me, it just the time period and placement of these series don't really matter to me, just because they are in separate dimensions, right? Like I don't necessarily think just because it's 2020 here, when I go to another Power Ranger world, it's gonna be 2020 there, right? Like I just feel like it could just be all over the place. Like maybe it might be have been a 10-year gap since we, 9 to 10 years since RPM. I don't necessarily know if that means it has been. I believe Devin did say I had almost been nearly a decade since they had contacted or came into contact with Dr. K. So if anything, I would assume that they're holding true to that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that RPM took place in 2000. Like what year did RPM take place? Did they put, I can't remember, they posted a year on there, didn't they?
RPM, I think, just took place like during modern times, if I'm not mistaken.
But they never gave like a date on the show.
No, not
right?
that I know of, anyways.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of either. That's why I was asking. But so who knows what year it is there, right? Or how much time has actually passed. So for me, when it comes to if you have the ability to jump into a different dimension, that just means that you have the ability to jump into another place that might be taking place in a different time era. You know what I mean? Or a different year altogether. So I just never put that much effort into thinking, oh, well, if this happens 3 years later, but then SPD is in the future, like it's just too confusing to me. If you can jump dimensions, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. And plus, I think the biggest thing too, and I know fans are going to hate me because they're going to say, oh, that's just a lazy excuse. But, when you kind of consider the comics and you consider all the time travel that goes on in Power Rangers, I think it's just safe to say that the universe of Power Rangers is always like changing constantly. Like you literally have the universe get rewritten after Shattered Grid's storyline. So, I kind of always just, if I ever see something that I can't really explain away, like through time gaps and everything like that, I always just kind of go with the idea of maybe it was just rewritten after Shattered Grid.
Nice. I like that mindset, man. Let's see here. We got Doomsday says, this is probably my second favorite plot twist in Saban era. My favorite plot twist was Ninja Steel's episode Family Fusion with Levi Weston being Brody's brother, Aiden Romero. That's right. I try and forget about Ninja Steel altogether sometimes. But yes, I do remember that revelation. I'm glad that you like that one, Doomsday. Shaunova says this episode was so fire. Glad we got a proper conclusion to RPM's story. Would have been nice to get a reference to Ziggy.
Yeah, he was definitely one of my favorate characters in RPM.
Hey,
Actually,
man,
the more I think about it, I don't think there was a bad character in that show.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. The acting was great too. I felt like, honestly.
And
Okay.
a movie I got to recommend to people who like Power Rangers RPM. There's a movie called Blood Punch. I think that's the name of it. And it was written by the creator of RPM. So there are so many actors from that show in that movie. So you got the actor for Ziggy as the main character. You got the Scottish dude as the main villain. And then Dr. K is kind of the love interest. It's a gangster movie mixed with Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that sounds like a crazy movie. Oh, gangster movie mixed with Groundhog Day. That's kind of cool. So they keep killing the same people, the same mob bosses and stuff over and over again?
I don't want to say any more because the twists
I'll...
kind of are really awesome, honestly.
All right, no problem. JB says, what? Says, I so enjoyed the episode. I'm happy they used Vengeance and finally wrapped up. Okay, the storyline from RPM. Yeah, me too. Jared says, Nate was shocked that he brought Vengeance from the RPM world, the Beast Morpher world, through Morph X to juice him up. Yeah, man. Shout out to Abraham again for such a great performance. I have not watched Saved by the Bell yet, but I may have to. I may have to check it out.
2 Power Ranger actors in that show, so I'm kind of curious because of that.
Yeah, who was the... Don't tell me, because I believe AJ told me. I know it was Abraham. It's not Peter Sodarso, right? Who's the other one?
One of the actors from Dino Fury. I think it was Chance Perez, but
no, I think it's Kai. I think it's Kai.
Okay,
I think it's Kai Moya. Who it was? Yes, it was Kai Moya. That's who it was. Okay. Matthew agrees with us. Girlfriend of the year goes to Zoe Reeves. Yeah, I should just start putting together some awards to start hand out superlatives or awards at the end of this season. Honestly, maybe I'll do a Beast Morphers award show.
That would be kind of awesome. Best actor, best girlfriend of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Alexis says, "Can you talk about to get? Oh, wait, can you talk about to get Q Ranger adapted into Power Rangers, please?" Somebody wants the video.
All right, I'm making
Stuart.
this video then.
So
Definitely.
definitely make the video, Stuart. I don't think it's happening, but I would love to see it. I've always thought of it as like an anniversary season to In Space or whatever the case might be. So I honestly would love to see it. I truly would. So yes, Stuart, if you want to make that video, man, feel free to.
I promise I will start working on it on Saturday because I will have so much free time. It's going to be ridiculous. And hopefully it should be done within a week. So I'll probably have it uploaded Friday of next week or not next week. Sorry. Friday of the week after is the goal. I'll say that.
Nice. I like it. That sounds like a good plan, man. All right. I think that's probably going to do it here. I'm just trying to see if there's any other new faces that popped up. What's up, good looking says Venjik's voice now is the same voice actor from RPM, but sounds more like Gosei from Megaforce, who was the same voice actor, and Korag from Mystic Force. Like, I wonder if he just forgot how to do the Venjik's voice.
No, because it wasn't his particular voice that was off. It was just the sound mixing of it. I feel like that was where, and maybe that was it. Maybe they just, because it was the same like studio that they were working in from Megaforce, they honestly might have just copied and pasted the assets from that show into Beast Morphers. Because we know from like the clip show episode this season, they clearly don't have any of the assets from previous seasons. So they probably have to like do all the sound mixing for anything that's before Neo Saban. They have to do all the sound mixing like on the spot. They can't like just copy and paste the previous ones that they had. That's my guess.
Yeah, you might be right, man. You might be right.
And I make that guess as an editor.
As editor yourself.
Yeah. And starting next semester, I can say that officially because I will have my certificate.
Oh, nice, man. I like it. I like it, bro. Let's see here. Video DVD says, my theory is that Nate was doing reverse engineering to gain access to the morphing grid. Oh, interesting theory there. And then the A Games 10. I don't like that the official Power Rangers social and YouTube revealed this spoiler in the form of a preview clip. Yeah, neither do we. We were not big fans of that.
Again, I luckily had already seen the episode, but if I was like you and I'm trying to like wait to watch them, on Nickelodeon, I would have been pretty vexed. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too, man. And Matthew says Beast Morphers award show. I already love it. So yeah, maybe we'll have something towards the end of. I know the last episode is next weekend, so it probably wouldn't be that weekend. If anything, it might be the following or like leading towards the end of the year. Before we go ahead and do that, maybe we'll have our own little Beast Morphers Oscars award ceremony or something. We'll see. We'll try and put together some overlays and some graphics and see what we can come up with for that. But other than that, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for us, at least in regards to our Beast Morphers review. Stuart, thank you very much for certainly joining me, man. I definitely went longer than certainly expected, but when you have somebody opposite of you that you can kind of go back and forth and discuss these things with, it definitely gets a little bit longer. But I'll always love discussing Power Rangers with you, man. So thank you very much for coming through today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem, Stuart. And so Stuart will be leaving here for this segment of the show, but he will, in fact, be back next week to definitely go ahead and discuss Beast Morphers with us. So definitely tune in to certainly see Stuart on here once again. But other than that, bro, thank you very much, Stuart. I appreciate having you, man.
All right. I appreciate being here. Have an awesome day.
All right, you too, man. Take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and transition over to another topic. The next topic here, we're going to go ahead and stick with some Power Ranger talk for you guys, so don't worry there. But definitely going to be getting into some Dino Fury talk here as things are moving behind the scenes in regards to new directors that are joining and coming on board here. This actually comes to us from the Power Scoop, letting us know that Caroline Bell Booth has officially joined Dino Fury as a new director. I feel like the comment even says here, she's the third new director for the new season. For Beast Morphers right now, at least in season 2, it's really been handled mostly by Simon Bennett, Oliver Driver as well. So I feel like they haven't really switched up the directing duties so much when it comes to Beast Morphers, but it definitely feels as though that's definitely going to change when it comes to Dino Fury. You know, one of the things that Simon Bennett talked about when he was actually announced as executive producer and going to be having a bigger role with this franchise, one of the things that he said was that he wanted to start bringing in some new talent, and not just new talent, but some of the talent from New Zealand, and giving them certainly opportunities to certainly showcase themselves. And he's continuing to do that by bringing in just a fresh batch of new talent. And usually with the fresh batch of new talent, usually comes brand new vision and really a brand new bar, certainly to set for Power Rangers going forward. One that certainly makes me very excited. So let's just go ahead and dive into just this little piece here. It says, it says Caroline Bell Booth joins Michael Hurst and Chris Graham as a new director for the Power Rangers television series. She will be directing the 6th block of episodes in the 28th season. Blocks are typically about 3 episodes, so she may be working on more than 1 episode of Dino Fury. She has directed episodes of Home and Away, Shortland Street, which is a very popular show out in New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, 800 Words, along with West Side as well. And let me see if I can actually bring up this article. Again, this actually comes to us from the Power Scoop. Guys, if you're not following the Power Scoop, please do yourselves a favor. Great source of information, especially when it comes to a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's going on, especially during filming. But they did go ahead and actually highlight Caroline Bell Booth just a little bit more on their page. You can find them not only just on the internet, but also on Twitter as well. I don't know if they have a... I'm trying to think if they have the IG page, but I usually follow them on their Twitter account. So definitely go ahead and check that out. But it says Simon Bennett, executive producer and showrunner for Power Rangers, recently tweeted his optimism in creating an outstanding season of Power Rangers. And some fans are feeling that with some of the new changes behind the scenes, it could turn out to be that way. It says some fans are also wondering if Bennett will be directing a few episodes after positive reactions to his episodes he's directed from Power Rangers. If anything, I probably would expect Simon Bennett to certainly go ahead and do so, even though he is bringing in some amazing talent. It would not surprise me if maybe Simon Bennett handles some of the bigger episodes, right? Like the intro, sort of the mid-season finales, and the finales, or maybe some team up episodes, whatever the case may be. But we'll see how it winds up actually playing itself out. Now, I'm personally am not too familiar with Caroline Bell Booth's previous work, but quite honestly, I'm really eager to certainly see what she has in mind. If Simon Bennett certainly trusts her along with Michael and the rest of the crew that he's bringing on, then yeah, count me in. Count me in. Why not? I'm excited for this. But Dino Fury continues to film. I would certainly suggest, in a non-creepy way, definitely go ahead and follow some of the cast members if you can on Twitter or Instagram during their journey in filming Dino Fury. It's actually been pretty great to actually see everything going on during filming, and not just that, but just what they're up to on their spare time, how they're enjoying a brand new country that they're in, really enjoying some of the sights, and really just growing their bond as Power Rangers, to be honest with you. Like that's the type of stuff I really enjoy seeing. It's just how close they definitely are becoming. But again, the idea of bringing in fresh faces usually means that you're trying to bring in a fresh vision. And so, like, one of the things that makes me wonder too is if we do continue to keep these the kid friendly Power Ranger shows, I think this is a brilliant idea of continuing to bring in some great directors. And who knows, maybe out of these brand new directors, maybe we'll find ourselves a gem, right? Like just somebody just needs a little shining off, some opportunities, and let them shine. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that out of everybody that we wind up getting here, that somebody winds up really, really impressing, to be honest with you. But listen, at the end of the day, though, guys, I definitely want to know your thoughts. Now that you know that we do have ourselves a brand new director joining Dino Fury, what's your level of excitement? Does it worry you that maybe it's going to feel inconsistent because of everybody new that they have behind the scenes? Or does this give you a breath of fresh air that maybe going into Dino Fury, not only will Power Rangers feel different, but maybe it might visually look different also. So I'm really excited to see what they definitely have in store for us. So definitely let me know your thoughts in regards to the idea of Power Rangers now having themselves a new director for Dino Fury. Outside of that, guys, let's go ahead and start moving over to some Boom Studios comic book talk. It's been a minute, honestly. I feel like since I've actually picked up a Power Ranger comic book to read it, a whole month. I feel like since last time Mighty Morphin or Power Rangers came out. Who knows? Maybe it was like 2-3 weeks ago, but it feels like forever, honestly. So I'm ready to go ahead and dive back into this Boom Studios world. And one of the things that we wind up getting this week, preparing ourselves for next week, is in fact Mighty Morphin issue number 2 preview, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to find out who exactly is this Green Ranger. I'm so fascinated by this revelation. I'm hoping that it's at least revealed to us here in this issue. So I'll definitely go ahead and keep my fingers crossed. But we did get some preview pages available to us, if I'm not mistaken, from Ranger Command Power Hour. They went ahead and actually highlighted some of the preview itself. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Again, this is from Ranger Command Power Hour. Great spot. Also, if you guys are looking for additional Power Ranger stuff to intake, whether it be a podcast or YouTube video, go ahead and check out Ranger Command Power Hour. You can find them easily on Twitter for sure as well. So definitely check it out. But it says on Wednesday, December 9th, Mighty Morphin issue number 2 will be released. It says 2 new series, 2 new team-ups. The Ultimate Power era continues as shocking secrets of the new Green Ranger are revealed. Zordon enlists Billy's help as the Mighty Morphin team deals with a shocking betrayal by the Power Rangers team. As the Mighty Morphin team remains fractured, Zed launches his latest attack, and only the new Green Ranger stands in his way, but none of them realize that they're walking into a trap courtesy of Zed's new powers. Yeah, and after the ramifications from issue number 1, seeing exactly how much Lord Zed has grown, especially since his interaction with the Green Ranger, incredible stuff, to be honest with you. So like, if Zed wasn't terrifying enough as it is, to know that this guy is even more powerful, call me scared for sure. So I'm really eager to see what they do here. And also the fact that they are continuing the storyline from Power Rangers issue number 1. If we saw the huge betrayal by the Power Ranger team, if you will, Jason, Zach, and Trini, in I guess you can say breaking out Lord Draken out of their particular command center. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Zordon definitely has a bone to pick with him, because homeboy was pissed at the end of Power Rangers issue number 1. So I'm glad that they're at least continuing sort of this overarching story between these 2 brand new titles and making them connect. And so we'll see. It says continuing as shocking secrets of the new Green Ranger are revealed. Hopefully that goes along with his identity also, who I'm still putting money on to possibly be either Matt or a part of me still thinks maybe even Psycho Green. I don't know if there's a way that maybe she, Grace Sterling, somehow has brought back maybe one of the Psycho Rangers. And the only reason why I say that is simply because of the fact that one of the images in Mighty Morphin issue 1 was the new Green Ranger just staring up at his at the saber or the dagger, almost like he was, I don't want to say like just fixated on it, but like it was almost calling to him, like he was just really curious about it. So I'm wondering if it originally maybe belonged to him at some particular point in time. Him and Grace certainly do have a past, if I'm not mistaken, from their time back in the 60s. So maybe there is some connective tissues there. But so if I had to guess, my money still is on either Psycho Green or Matt from high school, from their high school. So we'll see what happens here. But I'm really, really looking forward to what they certainly have in store for us there. But this is a great little some preview images, if you will, here. I'm getting the opportunity to see Zordon himself. Looks like he's like standing in front of a council here. Almost reminds me of the Green Lantern Guardians, if you will, with the big old blue heads just sitting around talking to Zordon here. But some great images. I'm really continuing to fall in love with the art style here by Mark Arena. So I can't wait to see what else they have in store for us. And one of the things I also want to talk about now, actually seeing this image of Zordon and Billy, talk about the idea of betrayal, right? I mean, not only does Zordon have to deal with the Power Rangers team in breaking out Lord Draken, but I'm wondering if he's going to eventually find out that Billy's just lying to his face, or his floating head, if you will. The idea that Billy knows more than he's certainly letting on, that he's clearly has worked closely with Grace Sterling in getting this new Green Ranger up and running. So to kind of see him in issue 1 lying to Zordon's face, and now him in Alpha having another conversation here, it definitely makes me wonder if at some point in time Zordon will realize that he's being betrayed, or at least lied to, on both fronts, which is crazy to even fathom. Maybe that's why they're focusing so much on Zordon's past a little bit with these flashback sequences. So we'll see what role Zordon definitely has to play. But crazy time to be a part of this Power Ranger team, to say the least. But Mighty Morphin issue number 2 does drop this upcoming Wednesday. So definitely go ahead and check out your local comic book store and definitely show your support as well. And if not, if you can't get to your local comic book store, I'm pretty sure you can go ahead and actually download these digitally. I usually get my stuff on like Comixology.com if for some reason I can't make it to the comic book store that week. But if you can go to your local comic book store, please go ahead and do so and show some love. But I do want to go ahead and stick with this Boom Studios talk, ladies and gentlemen, because we actually had ourselves a pretty interesting confrontation earlier this week with one of the publishers, or I should say maybe the president of Boom Studios. I'm not quite sure exactly how far up the ranks this guy is, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty far up. I want to say he's like the lead publisher, Ross Richie. Let me see if they have Can you guys hear me? Sorry. On me again. But Ross Richie is an American comic book publisher and the founder of Boom Studios. He's also a film producer, television producer, and comic book creator as well. So Ross Richie certainly had some words for some of the fans that we wind up having this week. This story actually comes to us from No Pink Spandex, where Ross Richie, CEO and founder of Boom Studios, had a conversation with a fan that was clearly urging him to fire Ryan Parrott so that this fan could have the opportunity to write Power Rangers, to which Ross Richie said, no, no, not at all. And I wanted to highlight this real quick because I did find this stuff pretty interesting. And I think, well, for me at least, I find it interesting because it does feel like it addresses an issue that we certainly might have when it comes to fandoms, right? I don't want to say it's on par or in the same vein. Like, it's definitely not the same, but it's kind of in line with it. But it is one of those things where, you know how we talked about a couple weeks ago that if I'm able to get Liana Ramirez or any other Power Rangers to be on here live to do maybe like a small interview with us and stuff, the one thing that I had mentioned was like, let's just all behave ourselves, right? Like, let's not make these references of how hot or good looking or how sexy somebody is, right? Like, let's just try not to embarrass ourselves by making us look like a fool and actually just, have an actual conversation, if you will, right? Like, just to be as professional as possible when it comes to these things, because not to say that you guys would do that, but there are people in the fandom that don't know how to act or talk to people, to say the least. And I think this is also a perfect example of that. So let's go ahead and actually dive into what the full conversation certainly was between these two. This comes to us from No Pink Spandex. Now, this is taken from Ross Richie's IG account. You can actually go to his Instagram if you want to and check this out for yourself. But he says, So he's talking as two people, himself, Ross Richie, and also the Power Ranger fan. So Ross Richie says, oh, I'm sorry. The fan says, hire me to write Power Rangers. To which Ross says, no. What? You're so mean. Why don't you give me a chance? You're being rude to Ryan Parrott, the current writer of Power Rangers and its twin series, Mighty Morphin. He's doing an excellent job, and the series is selling record numbers for the franchise. You're saying you want me to hire, you're saying you want me to fire a writer who is delivering and delivering in a big way to hire a complete unknown? But I'll work for free. I don't want anyone to work for free. Work is work. You should be paid. But all I need is just someone to give me a chance. That could be true, but it's not my job to give you your first break. My job is to make enough money to keep the 47 people at Boom Studios employed. And that means Ryan Parrott, who did all the hard work and delivered amazing results, should keep the job that he earned. And so he says, since I began my Instagram account, I have been buried in random strangers demanding that I hire them to write Power Rangers. You hear that word? Demanding that I hire them to write Power Rangers. No, thank you. No disrespect to anyone's aspirations, but stop asking. The answer is an unambiguous and unmoving no. All right? So I love that he brings that up. He's been buried, and he says it in capital letters, buried in random strangers demanding that I hire them to write Power Rangers. Guys, I got to ask you, how entitled as a fandom have some people become? Right? I mean, where's the common sense in this conversation from the Power Ranger fans' point of view? We all need big breaks in our lives. I granted, listen, I don't know what this person is, who this person is that he's referring to. The idea if I'll work for free. I just need someone to kind of give me a chance. Listen, we all need chances in our lives. Maybe it's up to you to certainly make those chances happen. Go to school, work on your writing, work on your craft, become great at it. Go hire yourself a writer's agent, right? So that you can have these opportunities in life to go ahead and do something like that. But to just come on board when you don't know this dude at all, you've never spoken to him once in your life, you've never had sort of a conversation at all. It is one of those things where it's just really rude, a showcasing of how entitled you feel as a Power Ranger fan and get whatever it is that you want. You know, I know this hurts people's feelings sometimes, but for somebody that worked in retail, I can tell you, customers are not always right. Okay? Fans do not always know what's best. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. If you think that you know best, go do something about it. Don't bother a CEO. Don't bother a founder of a company. Go write. Work on your craft. Hone yourself. Become an actual professional and go out there and earn your chance, just like Ryan Parrott had to do and all the other 47 people that work on Boom Studios. We have to stop this idea of being entitled as a fan base. And I'm sure that there are times that even I certainly do it. I'm no better than anybody else at times. But the one thing that I tried to talk about is, as a fan, as a part of the fandom, we have to work on how we interact with one another, and we have to work on the choices of words and dialogue that we use when we talk to people, right? So, you know, instead of demanding things, maybe nicely ask. But again, I'm not even going to say ask these people. Do not contact a CEO and a founder of a company asking for an opportunity. Go about it the right way, hard work, dedication, like everybody else, and get in line, my friend. All right. Or if anything, do something for yourself. Create something for yourself. Nowadays, the idea of people getting on the YouTube, creating their own content, original content is key. Remember that. Make something for yourself. So this type of stuff just really bothers me, and I just think it really just puts a damper on the fandom and makes just the community in a whole just really look bad. You know, you don't have to like what Boom Studios is currently doing, like, at all. You don't. But it's not your place to try and get somebody fired so that because of the fact that you think that you can do a better job. If you think you could do a better job, prove it and go through the channels to eventually become a Power Ranger writer at some particular point in time. But nobody's just going to give you an opportunity because you ask. You gotta do some work. Who knows? This person probably doesn't even have a resume or a portfolio or anything. He just wants to write Power Rangers because he's got this cool fan theory of his that he thinks is just so much better than everybody else's. Oh my goodness, Ryan Parrott's ideas don't compare to anything that I want to do. Get out of here with that, man. Just stop. Just stop. If you have an idea for Power Rangers, become a writer. Don't ask anybody for a chance. Don't try and become a part of the show. Don't reach out to Simon Bennett with great ideas. They cannot use those ideas regardless. They cannot use those ideas because if they use those ideas and they don't give you credit, they can get sued. So go through the proper channels, become a writer, get you a writer's agent, and go out there and try and secure yourself a job. But guys, please, before you send somebody a message that is a higher up, don't do it. Please do yourself a favor and just don't do it. I think at the end of the day, everybody will certainly be happier, and we won't have CEOs and founders of these great companies coming out here and making us Power Ranger fans look like a bunch of idiots because one person decided to just be ridiculous. All right. So, and I'm sure it's not just this person. It is an issue that I have had with other fans and have seen it when it comes to this fandom. So let's just be respectful. Let's be professional. And let's just be mindful that if you want a job, work hard at it, okay? And earn it like everybody else. So I tell you, sometimes I love this fandom and sometimes I get embarrassed. I can't lie. I can't lie just because of the way of how people, like, the whole idea, like, and again, demanding things. Like, what are you doing out there, Power Ranger fans? Like, we should just be better as people. Like, the whole idea of, like, I don't know. I'm trying not to go on a gigantic rant, honestly, but sometimes this type of thing makes me want to go on a rant. Sometimes I just want to take strangle somebody sometimes, you know, like, come on, guys, we got to be better than this. We have to be. We're not entitled to anything. We should be thankful, if anything, that these writers are giving us this content. We don't have to be big fans of it. And if you're not, then don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't read it. Move on to another aspect of Power Rangers that you do love, and that you do enjoy, because, you know, if you don't know this, there's 25 plus years of Power Rangers to certainly enjoy. So if you don't like Boom Studios stuff, go on to other things in Power Rangers that you certainly might like. But don't make our community look like a bunch of idiots or like a fool. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm off that now. I'm off that, I promise. Wiping my hands clean of that, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to go ahead and take a little bit of a moment to say a proper farewell. That's right. This one actually stings a little bit, and it doesn't even sting because I knew this person, because I did not know this person, but it just hurts because of the fact that they were so young. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who did watch the Ryusoulger series from Super Sentai, the young lady that played Yui, Mana Kinjo, or Mana Kinjo, I think it's Mana Kinjo, I could be pronouncing it wrong, I apologize, has unfortunately passed away. This comes to us from jefusion.com, a great source for my tokusatsu information, along with a couple other sites. But this is where I pulled the article from. Ryusoulger actress Mana Kinjo has officially passed away. This comes, let me go ahead and see if I can pull up this this site real quick so we can further talk about this. It says Mana Kinjo, also known as Yui from Ryusoulger, has passed away. In an official statement posted by her agency on her Twitter, Mana passed away on December 1st due to an illness. While the illness was never specified, the tweet would explain her absence in the later episodes of Ryusoulger, only to return in the finale. She was only 25 years old, guys. Only 25. And then they do have some news articles for the official statement. But yes, in Ryusoulger, towards the end, there was a time period where Yui had gained a ton of popularity from, I believe, her Yui channel, which was like a YouTube channel, if you will. And so they wanted to go ahead and bring her out to the States. So she wound up leaving the show to go to the States, or leaving the town to go to the States, and then eventually sort of came back. I don't feel like she had I mean, she was definitely a great presence on screen, to be honest with you. I truly enjoyed her presence whenever she popped up. A great smile, a great energy about her. Honestly, I really, really loved her energy. And it's really sad to have to see her depart. I don't think she was like super impactful on the show. I mean, I love the chemistry between her along with her father. I believe it was her father, along with the other Ryusoulgers. But despite the fact that I wasn't a big fan of the Ryusoulger series, Mana Kinjo certainly stood out to me in a very fantastic sort of way. So definitely sucks to see her go, to see her pass away like this, especially at a young age. I don't know what she was certainly fighting or struggling with. Maybe that's something that will eventually be expressed to us or told to us later on down the road. But whatever she was struggling with definitely took its toll. And unfortunately, at the young age of 25, passed away less than a week ago. So, it's just one of those things, like, you never know what their future would have held, what the trajectory of their career might have been for them, all the things that they could have accomplished in their lives. But just anytime anybody that has an impact that is taken away from us at such a young age, it's just heartbreaking. Even if I didn't know the person, I just really feel for their family and friends, honestly, because nobody wants to see anybody have to be taken away from us at such a young age. Maybe I'll go back and check out some of Mana Kinjo's previous work, if she certainly did have any prior to Ryusoulger. I wasn't familiar with her outside of this, but her smile, her presence, and definitely her joy will certainly be missed, not only for her family in real life, but on the screen as well. So rest in peace for sure. If I had some alcohol or beer here, I would pour one for my homie. But again, while I wasn't the biggest fan of Ryusoulger, thank you, Mana Kinjo, for the bright times that you definitely did show me and the impact that you certainly had on this series. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and just highlight her briefly and talk about her, because just a sad time, especially whether you were a Ryusoulger fan or not, or if you watch the series, you're definitely familiar with her. But definitely go ahead and send your best wishes and prayers out to her family and friends for sure. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I do have, how many more stories I got? I got 2 more stories that I want to go ahead and wrap up for you guys before we get into our live viewer questions. I'm probably going to try and push this for like 2:15 or so, maybe like another 30 minutes or so. So we'll see what we can get in that amount of time. But the next couple of topics, guys, we definitely will transition over to Super Sentai, specifically in Zenkaiger. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Zenkaiger's coming. While I'm loving Karamazor, I definitely do not want Karamazor to end, but I always am a big fan of just seeing what is potentially headed our way. Now, while we certainly don't have an actual like toy photos or actual photos to certainly showcase to you, the rumors and trademarks do in fact continue. I want to bring the first rumor up, at least, that wind up posting from the real Matt Hunt himself, which surprisingly I'm finding a lot of people on Twitter hitting me up like, how are you finding this stuff? Like, where are these images coming from? I can't find the real Matt Hunt. He's blocked me. I don't know anything about that guy, so you handle that, whatever the case may be. Maybe he's had it up to here with like Tokusatsu fandom or Power Ranger fandom, so maybe he's just blocked a ton of people somehow. Maybe I just weaseled my way through and I haven't done anything to bother him. I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. I really don't. But I do continue to follow the real Matt Hunt because I think he's a great source of information. I think it's a great source of information to get us questioning what's happening here. So here we go. Zenkaiger hint, question mark. The following image from Geo Guy Gar went up on a Zenkaiger thread. After posting the hint about the USBs, a user replied to me here that some of the Zenkaiger mecha can make Kamen Rider W like combos. So here's a example of what he's talking about. Again, this is from Gail Geigar, I believe he said the title of the show was. So this is where the mechas come from, but the user was suggesting that perhaps the mechas themselves from Zenkaiger may be just like this, in a sense that you can get your bots together, your mechas, and combine them in any well, I don't want to say any way, but happily have them doing combinations. I kind of dig the idea of them literally being like half and half. And it doesn't seem like it's legs and torso. It literally seems like it's half and half. Again, this is just a Zenkaiger hint. Clearly take this stuff with a grain of salt, to say the least. But this was one of the later rumors that I wind up seeing dropping earlier this week. If you ask me, I love this idea. If it does come to fruition, again, hashtag grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen, because these are just Zenkaiger rumors and hints. But this by far, now again, I don't think these are not the actual Zord designs. Again, it's just to showcase to you the potential of what some of the mechas could possibly do here in regards to combining themselves. So yeah, count me in. If that is what they're able to do, I love that idea, honestly. So I'm all on board for that. But that's not the only Zenkaiger information that we have, as trademarks have officially been going out for Zenkaiger. So now this is trademarks in regard to its toy listings. So this might give us a little bit of the insight into what we can certainly expect from this type of series. So let's go ahead and just pull this up here, because I do want to see what Zenkaiger might have in store for us. So this is from tokunation.com, another great site for your tokusatsu information. It says first Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger Toy Trademarks revealed. It says Toei has officially registered some merchandise trademarks for the 45th Super Sentai series, Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. At the time of writing, we do not have images of the toys in questions, but these names may provide some insight into the upcoming series. So first off is the apparent mecha for the Zenkaiger, the Zenkaiger. Based on the initial rumors, this will be a 5-piece combination. So again, we've got the, let me see, I've kind of pull this up. The Zenkaiger. Now this was the actual trademark image that they're basing this off of. All right, so that's exactly what their main mecha is going to be called, combining with 5 different combos, I believe is what they said, right? Yeah, 5-piece combination. So the Zenkaiger. And then it also says next is an item called the Gear Tlinger. What? Gear Tlinger? That's a weird. It says Gear, so gear. Tlinger, or maybe the T silent, linger, Tlinger. Supposedly a fusion of the characters for Gear and Gatling. This appears to be the Zenkaiger's signature weapon. So the Gear Tlingler. Let's see if I can pull this up. Yeah, that's how they even, interesting. Gear Tlinger. That's a weird ass name, honestly. Hopefully it winds up getting a better spelling as we go further. Who certainly knows? But apparently it's supposed to be a fusion of characters for Gear and Gatling. It appears it's probably going to be its signature weapon. And then it says, finally, there is a listing for Sentai gear. This seems to be the series collectible gimmick. Based on previous years, it seems very likely Toei will use this line to celebrate the past Super Sentai in this anniversary line. Again, it says, finally, there is a listing for Sentai gear. So let me go ahead and pull this up for Sentai gear. It says, this seems to be the series collectible gimmick. Based on the previous years, it seems very likely Toei will use this line to celebrate the past Super Sentai in this anniversary line. So if this does turn out to be an anniversary season, count me in, honestly. Count me in. I do love the sound of that. So we'll see what happens here, man. But we are inching ever so closely. We're now into December. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that here within the next week or so, maybe we actually start getting ourselves some images, or maybe those actual toy magazine leaks will start surfacing. Maybe some silhouettes yet again to keep us inching closer to the mystery behind who this new team is certainly going to be. But regardless, I'm super excited to see what they have in store for us. With just some of the rumors that we've been hearing, I believe the Yukai rumor has probably been debunked then. But we'll see what happens. But with everything having the title of gear in it, I am wondering exactly what this is going to focus on as far as its themes go, right? One of the things early on when they tried to break down the term of Zenkaiger, what does it mean? I know people were suggesting that maybe a machine world, maybe some robots or cyborgs. There was even like, I think there was something that broke down into like full throttle, right? So some people were thinking maybe like actual vehicles. I mean, we've seen some rumors also for different types of vehicles. So maybe that's where the gear is certainly coming into play here. But we'll see. We will eventually have ourselves more information. And once we do, ladies and gentlemen, we will certainly go ahead and keep you guys posted with all the Zenkaiger information. So if anything does drop throughout the week and we want to go ahead and make sure that we keep you guys posted, we'll definitely go ahead and do an impromptu episode for you guys. So definitely look forward to that in the future. But guys, listen, now that you've seen some of the ideas for Zenkaiger, whether it be the toy trademarks or even further rumors here that we presented for you today, what are your thoughts? How are you liking some of these that we're showcasing to you? Definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that out of the way, guys, I think we're probably going to go ahead and dive into some live viewer questions. Although, I don't know where I put my phone for the live viewer questions. Hold on one second. Oh, I found it. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know how many live viewer questions we certainly have, but let's see here. A+ more phenomenal. All right, Jessica Friedman says, would you like to see, what would you like to see in the new Rangers series by Jonathan Entwistle? And would you like to see it on Netflix or Hulu? For me, give me Netflix, just because of the fact that the rest of the Power Ranger library is there. If it's going to be, if they're keeping that library, send it to Netflix. I'll be perfectly okay with that. I'm also not opposed to the idea of Hasbro maybe wanting to start their own streaming service. I don't know if that's going to happen though or not, but if I had to guess, give me Netflix. And what would I like to see in the new Rangers series? I definitely just a new set of characters. I definitely, I just want it to be significantly different, honestly. Like I definitely want the format to change. I don't necessarily know if for what he's trying to do, I don't necessarily know if I need like a Monster or Zord Battle of the Week every time, I definitely would love to see some great action. That's for sure. I definitely do want to see that. But just give me some characters, some connective tissues to the past lore. It doesn't have to be super obvious, but even though you're rebooting and reimagining sort of this Power Ranger world, I don't necessarily think you need to completely forget everything that came before you. So maybe the occasional reference here or there, or cameo or two. But I really would like to see some big names, not super big names, but bigger names as far as acting wise, come on board to be a part of this series. Some more maybe somewhat recognizable face that we might have seen in some movies in the past. So maybe not super big popular names, but definitely people that we are aware of and has some experience under their belt. I would love to see that. Let's see here. We also have AJ. He's got a couple questions. Remember in season 1 when Avatar Roxy tried to kidnap Robbie and make an evil avatar out of him using the Morphin Grid? Why didn't Evox try that again with the other people to create an army of evil Rangers? That's missed opportunity. Do you think that there's that's what happens when you choose to ignore and cause lack of Sentai footage of evil Rangers? No, I don't. I just think the first time it failed, why try it again? So yeah, I think that's pretty much all it came down to. When Go Busters were first announced to be adapted into Beast Morphers, what did you not want to be copied? Not copied. I don't know if there was a lot out of Go Busters that I didn't think should be not copied. Um, I feel like for the most part, what they've been able to do has been pretty good. Just thinking about Go Busters in general, like I was such a big fan of that season. It's hard to not have wanted much to not be adapted. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to think. Like Escape was there, Enter was there. I just think if anything, I didn't know how they planned on maybe doing Messiah. I think that's probably maybe one of my biggest concerns was how did they present Messiah as a villain? And I thought for the most part they did pretty good when it comes to Evox. I mean, I really like seeing my villains included a little bit more when it comes to fighting, right? Like putting themselves out there instead of always sending their minions. Enter and Escape and Go Busters had such a pivotal role, had such a huge role because they were really the main villains of the season outside of Messiah because they did everything for him. You know what I mean? If anything, I definitely would have loved to have seen that explored a little bit more also. But other than that, I don't really think there was much out of Go Busters I didn't want to see adapted. So I'm glad that because honestly, at the end of the day, I've been pleased with both series, Super Sentai and Power Rangers side of things. You also say, what are some of your favorite moments of Power Rangers and Super Sentai, if you can recall them, and what do you want? What are some of your favorite moments of Power Rangers and Super Sentai series? I feel like I already answered that question last week, honestly. Like some of my moments that kind of stand out to me. So I think I already answered that already, Asian. Rashad Gabriel, what's up, man? Good to see you back here. I appreciate it. He said, what's up, Adam? So I know that the past you expressed how with the Power Ranger Jonathan Entwistle universe that's being built, you don't want them to ignore the 27 histories that it was built up. I do understand your mindset on that, but the more I thought about it, I realized I believe that they should break away from the past continuity. Just for the simple fact that if you want to bring in a new audience for Power Rangers, which is a lot of people that need to be brought in, and it's going to take more convincing to get people to feel like this is not cheesy and goofy like the franchise has been up until now. I think that's the best move. Maybe some cute ass references here and there to the old continuity would be fine, but overall it should feel fresh and new from the ground up. So in what ways do you feel they will reboot this universe as far as what they can do to bring new fans on board? So yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. That's pretty much what I'm trying to explain is the idea like references here and there is fine. I do want the series overall to certainly feel fresh and new and certainly do something different. So I don't necessarily need them to always refer to the past, not at all. But if you want to just put in some references just to be like, hey, see guys, we didn't forget about the past. We didn't forget about that. I'm perfectly okay with. On what ways do you feel they will reboot this universe as far as what they can do to bring in new fans on board? You definitely need to bring in a whole new entire cast, brand new characters. Definitely going to have to bring in great writers for sure, which we got Brian Edward Hill. So we'll see how he winds up doing that for the movie side of things. Who knows what they do with the actual series and stuff. But, I think it's just got to be a really fresh take on this, on these characters in this storyline. More action for sure. Better suits. I think the production value just has to be bumped up so that people can maybe take it a little bit more seriously. If they see that you're spending more than $20 million and it doesn't look like a kid show, I think that'll probably garner some fans. But maybe one or two familiar faces that people know who they are, I think is important if you want to bring the general public in. Because half the majority of the actors that are here for Power Rangers television now, we don't really know. Same thing with the movie. I don't think many of us knew who Dacre Montgomery was or Ludi Lin, or maybe some people knew a Naomi Scott. I don't know. I think she was probably they're all like really fresh faces. RJ Seiler, right? But made a name for themselves. I don't mind that. But maybe for the movie or the television series, again, maybe just an actor or two that people are at least familiar with, and then you can put in whoever else you want for the rest of the cast. But yeah, just give me original footage. Just give me a really heartfelt storyline. Tell your story within a certain amount of episodes, maybe not 44 plus episodes. Maybe make it a little bit easier for people these days to binge or sit down and watch, right? I feel like we're kind of moving to those, especially when it comes to streaming services. They tend to have like what, 8 episodes, 10 episodes, maybe 15 or 16 if we're lucky, type of thing. So I think if you make it more easily digestible, I think you should be perfectly fine. And yeah, just make it fresh. Let's just not a repeat thing that we've kind of done in the past. There's plenty that they can certainly do to reboot this universe to bring new fans on board. But I do think that some familiar faces would really go a long way, honestly. So thank you for your question, Rashad. If I think of anything else, though, I'll definitely go ahead and bring it up. You also say if Hasbro ain't touching Cure Ranger or Lupin Pat. Oh, this is from L'Oreal. What's up, L'Oreal? Next question from L'Oreal. She says, if Hasbro ain't touching Cure Ranger and or Lupin Pat, how'd it be if my friend and I use them as part of a galactic council to help our Tokugers? I do like that idea. Sure, why not? Galactic councils are always pretty awesome. Last time I saw anything like that, I felt like in Power Rangers, it just reminds me of In Space, where Andros runs across like the council of all those villains. That's what it reminds me of. So yeah, go for it, L'Oreal. What's your expectations for Dino Fury? Like, what are you looking forward to? When it comes to Dino Fury, I really want to see how significantly different they can make Dino Fury feel from Beast Morphers. Now that we have brand new directors coming in, Simon Bennett and everybody have had their experiences together with Beast Morphers. I'm wondering if they're looking at I hope that they look at that series and think to themselves, what else can we do better and improve from there? So visually and production wise, I want to see it look different, and I want it to feel like they've put money behind this budget. So that's one of my expectations. I'm definitely looking forward to better budget, better production, and better storytelling. I think the acting is probably going to be even even better than what we've gotten before in the past. I'm expecting an uptick in some of the performances. Also, not all of them, but certainly some of them. And I'm hoping for some team up episodes here, whether that be with Beast Morphers, which I really want to see, or if they want to do another Dino crossover in a certain extent. If not a Dino crossover, then I would love to see some previous Dino season cameos, if you will. If this is the last hurrah for Super Sentai footage, who knows? We are supposed to be getting ourselves a new another kid-friendly Power Ranger show. But if this is it for Dino Fury in regards to in this continuity as we know it, let's pay homage to the previous Dino seasons that certainly came before us. We started off with Mighty Morphin. Just as we came into the world as dinosaurs, we're leaving the world as dinosaurs, right? So I just think it's something really poetic about it. So I do hope that there are some elements of past Dino seasons in here. But that's really my only expectations. And again, just because I have expectations doesn't mean that I absolutely need them to do it, right? That goes back to the idea of being an entitled fan. Oh, you didn't give me what I wanted. I hate this show. I'm going to complain and ask to be a writer. Like, no, if those are my expectations, those are things I would certainly like to see. But if I don't get them, that's fine. Let me see what else they have in store. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I watch a whole season and I'm displeased, then I'll certainly complain about it. But I'm definitely going to give them the opportunity to certainly show me what they want to show me. So good luck to them for sure. AJ also says favorite battleizer from Power Rangers and Super Sentai, including exclusives that weren't here originally. Favorite battleizers. I'm really not a big fan of battleizers, honestly. I just look at battleizers very much as just toy sales. If I did have to pick a battleizer, though, recently that jumped out at me, I really did like the Fury mode that we wind up getting for Devin in here. I don't know if you can really consider that a battleizer or not. Homeboy literally only had it for like one episode, so maybe not necessarily a battleizer, but I would say of course Real Soul Max Red, hello from Ryusoulger, which we will in fact be having for Dino Fury. I can't wait for people to see that. I consider that certainly a battleizer because Ko was the only person that was able to actually rock it himself. Like nobody else actually wore it. So Super Sentai for me is probably easily Real Soul Red Max. But Power Rangers, I've never really been a big fan of the battleizers, honestly. I don't know if that's a popular opinion or not, but I've just never been a big fan. They always look so cumbersome and difficult. Like they just had to make the most obnoxious looking thing just so that they can look how cool it looks for toy sales and marketing. Like I just don't, I'm just not, I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of them. Maybe going forward, if they want to do something significantly different, I'll be open to that, but I've never been impressed with a battleizer, honestly. But yeah, the Ryusoulger power-ups, though, are incredible. They're not battleizers, but the power-ups from Ryusoulger are pretty cool. So I can't wait for people to see that. But yeah, that Max Real Soul Red certainly goes a long way. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's actually probably going to do it for us. Oh, real quick shout out to J Vision 1 says, I want an all original footage season. I would not be surprised if you plan on getting one soon, Vision. Whether that be Dino Fury, that I don't know, but I will say when it comes to Dino Fury, I would not be surprised if Dino Fury has a ton more original footage than it does Super Sentai, because the one thing that we have seen from Go Busters from Beast Morphers so far is that you can tell that they're definitely pushing for more original footage and trying to use as little Super Sentai as possible, and I think that trend just continues for Dino Fury. So don't be surprised there, man, if it comes to fruition. All right, guys. Other than that, I think that's going to go ahead and do it. I have an appointment at 2:30. Got to get there in like 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to be booking it, to say the least. But guys, listen, this week, now that we have officially revealed to you guys our Patreon account, we are going to be starting to put up some of that exclusive and early access available to you guys this upcoming week. So again, let me see if I can actually go ahead and pull this up. Hold on one moment, guys. I'm going to try and see if I can do something here for you guys real quick. I want to say I thought I pulled up a list of what we actually have available to you guys when it comes to our Patreon. So let me see if I can find it. Where did I? You know, I created the maybe I didn't save that image. I thought I did. Let me see if I can pull this up on the Patreon page. I'm going to go ahead and just showcase to you guys what some of our tiers are if you are, in fact, interested in joining us. So hold on one moment here. Let me pull this up. Let's see here. I'm still trying to work this this thing as best as I can as far as like navigating it. I feel like, you know, sometimes when they say like as you get older, technology starts like passing you by. I'm like, damn, yo, how old am I right now? All right, here we go. So let me go to the tiers here, and I'll even bring up so you guys can see. We've got 3 tiers right now. If you guys are in fact interested in joining our Patreon. So as of right now, here we go. So we've got elementary, which is $1. You get audio versions of each show. You get on-air shout-outs on initial sign-up as a patron. And we also have a Discord community, guys. We have, in fact, built ourselves a Discord page where if you are interested, because we want to go ahead and continue to build our community. So our Discord page certainly will be where if you are a member under the first tier or any of these tiers, you certainly will get access to our Discord community so we can all talk amongst ourselves, whether that be in regards to Power Rangers, Tokusatsu, anything in particular. So trust me when I say that Discord is certainly huge. So it would definitely give us a home to keep you guys also updated on anything that's happening with our channels, and a way for us all to communicate. The high school level here is $5 a month. It offers everything the elementary level does, but it also gives you early access to Super Sentai reaction videos, because we're going to be starting to do Zenkaiger. So the early access is probably about a month ahead. So you probably will be getting at least 8 episodes prior to them being shown to the public. You also get an extra Kamen Rider series review that Stuart just talked about at the top of this show that he's going to be doing for you guys. That will not be available to the public. So that will be an exclusive. Early access to Power Ranger comic book reviews. We usually review them on Saturday, but you actually might get them a couple of days early, whether that be Wednesday or Thursday. And then exclusive reviews for graphic novels. So similar to like the Sins of the Future one, that would in fact be an exclusive review specifically for you guys. If you wanted to join the other tier, which is college, that's $10. We offer everything else, but we also start adding in some things for A+ Hero Report also. So DC animated film reviews will in fact start for you guys. Exclusive comic book character breakdowns by Indy, who's going to be giving those to you guys, maybe at least one comic character breakdown a week. So definitely look out for that, or maybe like two a month or something like that. Weekly Power Ranger series watch along. That's right, guys. We plan on rolling out a Power Ranger series watch along at some point in time. I think we're probably going to tackle Dino Thunder first. It'll probably be like a 2-hour sit down or so. We'll probably go through 4 episodes at a time, 4 or 5 episodes at a time until we get through the entirety. So that will be exclusively only to Patreon fans. You also get automatic entrance into any giveaways that we have, and we do have one coming up here rather soon. And then, of course, bi-weekly movie watch-alongs. Now, that's mostly for A+ Hero Report, but maybe we can sprinkle in the occasional A+ More Phenomenal as well. But because I love movies, so I definitely would love to do further movie watch-alongs with you guys also. So I guess a watch-along every 2 weeks when it comes to movie side of things. So that's all we have right now. Once we start bringing in more people, once we as a crew wind up getting more comfortable with what we have here, and being able to get out this content to you guys, we certainly will continue to grow as well. So I did want to go ahead and showcase to you what our Patreon certainly was like, and we definitely would love for you to go ahead and continue to support our channel in that way if you'd like to. So not asking for much, but we definitely want to go ahead and continue to upgrade our production in here, bringing on more people. Hopefully in the future, we can get traveling out to conventions and stuff. But with your guys' continued support, I do believe that we can certainly get to that even next level, if you know what I mean. So just wanted to go ahead and highlight that for you guys. So again, join us on patreon.com at /A+ opinions, guys, and certainly show your love and support for the channel. But yes, that wanted to go ahead and highlight that for you guys. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Other than that, I think that's probably going to do it for us today. But I appreciate you guys enjoying your weekend with us. If you are subscribed to us on A+ Hero Report, also, we will be back live Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time on A+ Hero Report to talk Marvel, DC movies, and television. But for us Power Ranger fans, we will in fact be back later next week for a live episode of A+ More Phenomenal every Saturday at noon Central Time. And of course, we've got a Kamen reviews coming for you guys. We also have ourselves Kamen Rider double feature as Saber, as Stuart will in fact be reviewing the past 2 weeks also. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to our channel and click that bell notification, importantly, so when we do drop brand new videos, you will certainly be notified. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for me here today. So thank you very much. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do so right here at A+ Opinions, mostly on our Facebook page, which is our main hub. You can also find us on our Twitter account, which we are very active, along with Instagram and Twitch for you gamers. So until next time, do me a big favor, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. May the power protect you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.